Have you ever wondered what powers the artificial intelligence tools you use every day? What if I told you that some of the biggest names in journalism are accusing OpenAI, the creator of ChatGPT, of stealing their work? Imagine a battle where innovation clashes with the very institutions that bring you the news. Today, we dive into the lawsuit that could reshape the future of AI and journalism forever. In November 2024, five of Canada's most prominent news media companies, including the Toronto Star, the Globe and Mail, and CBC Radio Canada, filed a groundbreaking lawsuit against OpenAI. They allege that OpenAI has unlawfully used their copyrighted material to train its powerful AI models. At stake, billions of dollars in the very principles of intellectual property. But how did we get here? And why is this case so significant? To understand, we need to rewind to the origins of ChatGPT. OpenAI launched its first version of the chatbot in late 2022, quickly becoming a household name. ChatGPT's success relies on its ability to generate human-like responses, a skill honed by analyzing vast amounts of text data from the internet. But this success comes with controversy. The lawsuit claims that OpenAI scraped content from these Canadian news websites without permission, bypassing safeguards like paywalls and copyright notices. According to the plaintiffs, this isn't just a legal technicality, it's a direct attack on the hard work of journalists and editors. In their words, OpenAI has brazenly misappropriated their intellectual property, converting it for its own commercial gain. They argue that this content, painstakingly created by professionals over countless hours, is the lifeblood of their businesses. And now they want justice. But OpenAI isn't backing down. The company claims its use of publicly available data falls under the legal doctrine of fair use or fair dealing, as it's known in Canada. An OpenAI spokesperson recently stated, "Our models are trained on publicly available data, grounded in fair use principles that are fair for creators and support innovation." So who's right? Are we witnessing a David and Goliath battle where journalism fights to protect its livelihood? Or is this just another chapter in the age-old debate over copyright in the digital age? This lawsuit isn't an isolated event. OpenAI has faced similar accusations before. In the US, the New York Times, the Authors Guild, and even prominent figures like Sarah Silverman have brought their own legal battles against the AI giant. Each case highlights a growing concern. As AI technology advances, where do we draw the line between innovation and infringement? This latest Canadian lawsuit adds another layer to an already complex situation. The plaintiffs, which also include Metroland Media, Postmedia, and the Canadian Press, argue that OpenAI didn't just use their content, but actively circumvented measures designed to block data scraping. For example, many news websites employ the robot exclusion protocol to restrict bots from copying content. Essentially, it's a set of rules telling AI crawlers and bots, this content is off limits. However, according to the news companies, OpenAI ignored these safeguards and, in doing so, violated the terms of service of these websites. The news outlets are not just asking for damages, they are calling for the court to halt OpenAI's use of their content going forward. If the case proceeds, they could be looking at punitive damages of $20,000 per article used to train ChatGPT. Multiply that by the thousands of articles OpenAI allegedly scraped, and the damages could easily reach billions of dollars. And it doesn't stop there. The plaintiffs also want OpenAI to share the profits it's made from using their articles. But let's pause for a second. Is this lawsuit really about fair compensation? Or is it more about a strategic move to negotiate lucrative licensing deals with OpenAI? After all, the timing of this lawsuit comes on the heels of OpenAI making licensing deals with major media organizations like the Associated Press, Axel Springer, and Le Monde. Could it be that these media companies are seeing an opportunity to secure similar agreements for themselves? Or is this an honest fight to protect their intellectual property? What makes this case particularly interesting is the legal theory behind it. OpenAI is standing firm on the principle of fair use. They argue that scraping publicly available data from websites is not the same as copying it. According to their legal team, training a model like ChatGPT involves creating something new from the data. In this case, abstracting patterns and relationships between words. OpenAI's defense rests on the idea that the data it uses isn't copied in its original form. Instead, it's transformed into a statistical model that doesn't reproduce the exact text. The argument, however, isn't without controversy. Legal scholars and organizations like Creative Commons have weighed in, stating that OpenAI's use of news articles is akin to Google's digitization of books. Both are considered transformative uses, meaning they take original works and create something new, but without directly competing with the original content. This is where it gets complicated. Let's break this down. OpenAI's AI models are trained on a massive amount of text data. This includes everything from books to websites to news articles. However, OpenAI doesn't necessarily use the full text of an article to train its models. Instead, it's extracting patterns, metadata, and word frequencies, things that are uncopyrightable. So is this scraping, or is it simply learning from the data in a way that doesn't violate copyright law? The courts will have to decide, but that's not all. Another significant point in this case revolves around the business relationships involved. OpenAI is closely linked to Microsoft, which has invested billions into the company. In fact, Microsoft has a 49% stake in OpenAI's earnings, which means they have a substantial influence on the company's operations. The media companies are concerned that OpenAI's use of their data without compensation is a way for both OpenAI and Microsoft to profit off of their hard work. And that's something they're not willing to accept. It's not just about copyright infringement, it's also about fairness. The plaintiffs argue that they've invested significant resources into their journalism, and now OpenAI is using that work to power its highly profitable AI models. When OpenAI profits from this without sharing any of the revenue with the creators, that feels like an exploitation of their intellectual property. This lawsuit is significant because it highlights the tension between innovation and protection of intellectual property. The digital world is evolving at a rapid pace, and many creators are left wondering how to protect their work from being repurposed by massive tech companies like OpenAI. But it's also a wake-up call for AI companies. As the technology continues to evolve, it's clear that the legal framework around intellectual property and AI is still catching up. What we're seeing now may be the tip of the iceberg, with more lawsuits likely to follow. In this case, isn't just about the legal ramifications, it's about the future of journalism. If OpenAI's use of news articles is deemed fair use, it could set a precedent for other AI companies to scrape and use content without compensating creators. This would have far-reaching consequences for the media industry, which is already struggling with revenue models in the digital age. If they lose control of their content, they could be left fighting to survive in a world where their work is essentially free to be used by anyone, even AI models. But there's another layer to this debate. The timing couldn't be more significant. As AI becomes an ever larger part of our lives, questions about its impact on traditional industries are intensifying. This lawsuit could set the stage for future legal battles over the rights of content creators versus the needs of AI developers. Will we see a world where AI companies are forced to pay for the data they use? Or will creators have to adapt to a new reality where their work is open to anyone, as long as it's publicly available? One key point here is that OpenAI isn't just about creating a chatbot. The company is at the forefront of developing new AI technologies that could shape the future of multiple industries, from healthcare to finance to entertainment. If OpenAI's AI models are trained on content that hasn't been properly licensed, it could have a ripple effect across the entire tech sector. This case is about more than just one company's use of news articles. It's about how we, as a society, view the ownership of digital content in an age dominated by AI. So, where do we go from here? The legal battle is just beginning. Judges in Canada and the US will soon have to decide whether OpenAI's use of copyrighted material is a fair and transformative use of data, or whether it's a violation of copyright law that should be compensated. The Canadian case is set to be a landmark decision. If OpenAI is found guilty of copyright infringement, it could lead to massive payouts for the media companies and change the way AI companies operate. But if OpenAI wins, it could pave the way for other companies to follow in its footsteps, using publicly available content to train AI models without paying creators. This case could determine the future of both journalism and AI. It's a fight for the rights of creators and the innovation of AI developers. Which side will the courts choose? And what will that mean for the future of digital content? As we await the legal outcome, one thing is clear. The intersection of AI and copyright law is a complex and evolving battlefield. In the coming months, we could see the very framework of how intellectual property is treated in the digital age shift dramatically. But for now, we can only watch as this high-stakes drama unfolds. Will the future of AI development be shaped by the interests of large corporations, or will creators be given the rights they deserve? Stay tuned, because this is a case that could change the digital world as we know it. And as we continue to witness AI grow and evolve, we must ask ourselves, what kind of future do we want for creators, consumers, and innovators alike? The answer could be decided in the courtrooms of Canada. This legal battle is far from over, and it's a crucial moment for the future of both AI and intellectual property rights. The outcome of this case could reshape the entire digital landscape, impacting everything from journalism to the development of new technologies. But what do you think? Should AI companies like OpenAI be required to pay for the content they use? Or is their use of publicly available data fair game? We want to hear your thoughts in the comments. If you found this video insightful, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more in-depth analysis.